The College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University each and every year recognizes one of its alumni as the Alumni Fellow for that given year. And the 2015 honoree is with us now. She is a 1998 graduate of the college and is currently the Vice President of Health Management for the Hanner Corporation out of Wisconsin, working in the area of swine health. And once again, we're happy to have Dr. Tara Donovan with us. Tara, welcome back to Kansas State, first of all.
Thank you.
And congratulations on this recognition. We do like to share the background of the honorees in this series. So you are a native Nebraskan, correct?
I am. I grew up in Loop City, Nebraska.
On a farm?
On a farm, on a mixed, cattle, chickens, alfalfa, corn.
Diversified
hay.
operation.
Absolutely. Yep. A little operation. I have 2 sisters, and my grandfather farmed, and 2 of his brothers farmed, and 3 of his sisters farmed. So, little farming community.
At some point in your youth, were you enticed by the area of animal health in general and swine health in particular? How did that play out?
Well, growing up on a farm, I never saw myself doing anything except working with animals. Okay. I was, I think, unique in that I didn't have a career change after I decided maybe when I was 8 or 10 and the veterinarian came and saved a cow. I thought it was so awesome. That's what I wanted to be, and that's what I actually ended up being. So I think that's fairly rare. A lot of people growing up on farms want to be a veterinarian because it's kind of a noble profession, and we grew up with James Herriot and kind of the miracle type of veterinary medicine on the farm.
Then you pursued your degree at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, first of all, your bachelor's degree, then on to Kansas State for your DVM, correct?
Right. University of Nebraska had a reciprocity program with Kansas State, so I didn't even consider going anywhere else. In fact, I didn't apply anywhere else. So Kansas State was kind of my destination, and both great land grant institutions, wonderful, agricultural based colleges. So for me, it was just like home. And
you pursued swine health throughout as your term at K-State, or did you?
Actually, no. I was interested in mixed animal originally, so going back to Nebraska, a rural community, that was my goal, and really had that goal through undergrad. And when I got to veterinary school, I got introduced to swine medicine by Dr. Steve Henry and Lisa Tokash, and I spent a lot of time in production medicine, feedlot medicine, on the cow side. That's what we had when I grew up. So beef cows was kind of my love at the time, and I still like them, but somehow got sidetracked into swine. And so a funny story is that when I graduated from veterinary school, my husband is also a veterinarian, and so he was a few years behind me in vet school. So I looked for a job that was close to Manhattan, but still production medicine based. So the opportunity at Hanor presented itself, and I was still destined to be a cattle veterinarian, and so I thought I can do anything for a year, and took the job and never looked back.
So that was right here at Kansas State for a short duration.
Yep, so I did an internship my first year out in food animal medicine, and that was fun. Learned a lot more in depth with kind of individual animal medicine, and did the work at the swine farm. Worked with students in a different capacity at that time, so it's different being a student and then working with students your first year out of school. Then I started with the Hanor Company in Enid, Oklahoma, so not too far from Manhattan, Kansas. And after working there for a few years, I moved to their main offices in Spring Green, Wisconsin.
We'll talk about your current employer and your employer almost virtually since you graduated from K-State in the Hanner Corporation, what it is about.
So the Hanor Company is a pork production company, and about 8 years ago they invested in a pork processing plant in St. Joe, Missouri called Triumph Foods. And as we've seen the poultry industry integrate, about 10 years ago, swine operations started integrating as well and having producer-owned plants. So the Triumph Foods is owned by many producers. There's a big group of Nebraska and Kansas producers that are owners in that Triumph Foods plant, the company that I work for, Hanor. and a couple other Minnesota and Iowa-based companies. So that was fun to see that progression in the industry and also in the company that I work for in terms of working with live animals, having employees taking care of pigs, but also then seeing the further processing part and understand what the kind of end result in selling a meat product.
So as the Vice President for Health Management with the corporation, you cover quite a gamut in terms of the health of the animal from farm to processing plant?
I do, and I don't do it alone. I have a multitude of very talented veterinarians that work with me. Some are, we have pigs in multiple states, so the company owns several farms, and in 6 different states actually. And so we have mixed practitioners that do a lot of work for us that have more of a rural practice and traditional veterinary medicine, as maybe I grew up having the vet come on our farm. So I work really close with 4 different veterinarians in key regions of ours. And then I have 3 on-staff veterinarians as well that help me do direct work for Henor. We have one veterinarian that is a recent addition that focuses only on animal well-being and welfare. So to make sure that area for us is very important, and with some of the changing landscape and all the new information that we're learning about care and housing, I can't keep up with all of it as far as just making sure we're doing the right thing. So we have one veterinarian that looks after that piece for us directly.
Well, as you're talking about all that, Tara, you're covering quite a breadth of the industry in your capacity then, aren't you?
Right.
Pretty demanding, isn't it?
It is, but it's fun. I had a mentor in school that told me, if I'm not challenged every day at work, then I need to start looking for more responsibility. And I think that's how I look at it. I like new things. There's always something new. The day is never the same. I think that's true of a lot of facets of veterinary medicine. I've always been agriculture has always been really a part of my life. I couldn't imagine not working in agriculture, whether it's cattle or swine. And it's fun to work with new veterinarians, with young students. That's probably one of the gifts that I have is I'm allowed to get new, really innovative, good thinkers, bright students, and they keep me, wanting to learn more. They know more than I did when I got out of school, I can tell you that.
There's a renewal to it.
It really is. It really is. And the people that I work with every day in the farms are just like the people that I grew up in my community. Farmers, dedicated to their work. Agriculture is all they know, and that's all they want to do. And I wouldn't change that. And sometimes I get stuck in the office a little bit, and I miss being out in the farms. So as you move up and get more responsibility, which is great, sometimes you have to go back to the farm. So I do my best work on the farm, for sure.
You're still relatively early on in your career, some 15 years in at Hanner. But as you look back, what do you consider your pinnacle achievement to date, if you can single anything out?
I haven't talked about my family yet, so I would say for me personally, that's my pinnacle achievement. That's
a good call.
I have a wonderful husband first, who I mentioned is also a veterinarian. His name is Dirk, and I have 2 wonderful kids, Gus and Tikla, 13 and 10, and that keeps me busy in itself. They definitely support me, and it's wonderful to see them grow and to see them learn about agriculture as well. My husband wanted to come with me back to Manhattan as well, but it's calving season and his practice is cattle. So spring and fall are his busy times. So he was unable to make it, but definitely I knew the group that I'm here to represent and also to talk with understands that type of medicine. Sure. So that's what we do. So that's my pinnacle achievement. Personally, for Henor or for my career, I'm trying to think if one stands out. I guess for me, I really think that it's important to understand the basis for our decisions, for our health decisions, whether it's a change of vaccine or it's a recommendation for a different antimicrobial, And so it's always should be based on a science or research or data. So we're very data driven. I am lucky in that our owner understands and our owners understand that information is really the key to making good decisions. So we have the ability to have research barns, a research director, and we invest back into the ability to do research and really clinical on-farm things like comparing different treatments and out in the field. And I think that it really makes us stand out among the rest and keeps us learning and always striving for new ideas and new innovation. So I think that's one of the achievements that I've been able to do with a lot of support with Honor, is to continue to make better decisions for health, and that comes with an investment of money and time and effort in universities and great people like some of the professors and researchers here at K-State that we learn from out in the field.
There are a myriad of challenges and issues ahead, it would appear, before the swine industry. Of course, the industry is hopefully on the backside of the PED issue. That virus is very devastating to the industry. There's some recovery in play now. As you look ahead, what do you perceive as the lead challenge or challenges in the swine health field, and then more broadly for the industry proper?
I think, you can't not talk about antimicrobial resistance and the use of antibiotics on farm and be in any type of food animal practice. And our own K-State faculty, Mike Apley, is one that's a huge resource to us out in the field. So that's definitely an area that's a challenge. We want to continue to have that as a tool to use. Definitely I can say in the PED outbreak, we needed tools, any tool that we had to help pigs recover from that disease and other diseases. So that's definitely one of the, if not the top issue for us. I think just transparency in what we do on the farm and how we care for animals. There's a lot of controversy over housing, sow housing, and I think back to where I grew up and what I saw in small town Nebraska. We brought sows in the 80s and the 90s to protect them from the environment, from snow and sunburn and disease and pests, and on a food safety standpoint, you couldn't have made a better decision for the safe food that we can provide with animals in the housing systems that we have. We probably lacked in understanding the behavior a bit, and that's what we're really gaining a lot of knowledge about, is sow behavior. Group housing is showing us that. Sows are interesting animals. They do like to fight, and they're aggressive, and so we tried to protect them, and I think we did a good job of that. But we're learning now that I don't think that those decisions and those types of housing systems were bad, and I don't think any farmer would ever say we did the wrong thing. That's what we knew at the time to do, and we were protecting them, and we were raising a safe animal and safe food. And so I think that transparency, I'll just call it that, in what we do on the farm is important. For us, biosecurity means that we do have pigs indoors, and we have a disease biosecurity protocol where we want people to come into our farms and make sure they haven't been around other livestock and bring different pathogens in to infect our pigs. And that seems like we're doing, it's behind closed doors, and we haven't been able to promote that very well. I was having a conversation a bit earlier today about the difference in when I graduated in 1998 and now on the use of video for training and the use of video for understanding and education. And so, we didn't have videos of what was going on in a hog barn in 1998. We didn't have YouTube, and we didn't even use internet. So I think, maybe I've heard people say, farmers are behind, saying, telling everybody what they do. Well, I'm not sure if we were behind. We just have technology now to get that information out to the public. So that's what I think we need to do. It's not something that we that we have to go fix. It's something that we get to meet more people and really promote what good we do on the farm.
By the same token, the swine industry, and this has been evident in recent years, seems to be quite astute in responding to those kinds of changes and challenges. Is that your take?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would depend on, once in a while I can see a lot of news media coming in, and I definitely, read as much as I can, and so I feel like everything's coming at us like a freight train. But in reality, perhaps it's not that bad. And I think if you look at the response and understanding, sow housing has been really the key issue when you look at animal care, at least in terms of swine medicine or swine production. There's a lot of research coming out that looks really good, and we're learning a lot. So, and I think that's complimentary of our industry, and digging in and saying, let's learn about this. Let's figure out what the right way is. I think if you look at that same note, you mentioned PED, which was a devastating disease, and I can tell you that people remember where they were when the Twin Towers fell, or when the Challenger, exploded. I can tell you, I know where I was when we had our first farm. And it really, we kind of call it the PED fog, because we had a year that we were just in a crisis, and a crisis on the farm, not knowing for sure what to do. It was tough on our people. It was tough on us. So I'm glad that part's over. And I think the thing to appreciate is how fast we learned information, how fast we learned, had a diagnostic tool for diagnosing the virus. We had, a lot of information being shared very openly on what are you doing to combat this. We had just a flood of, I think, networking among swine veterinarians and researchers to try to fix it. All of the information on feed in terms of transmission of this virus, which is just out of this world and something we'd never seen before. So in a very short 18-month period, we knew more about that virus than we've known about many other viruses that we see every day in the pig world, because it was so devastating. And I think with things like the Agrobioterrorism Center and just really understanding what threats there are, I think that's so important for food animal medicine, and really just for our industry as a whole.
Well, Tara, lastly, for we could talk for quite some time on these and other matters, but your response to being named the Alumni Fellow for the College of Veterinary Medicine for 2015, and what that recognition signifies to you.
Well, first, I'm very humbled, and my first question to my husband was, why would they pick me? I'm just a swine veterinarian out in the field. So I guess, part of me is just a farm girl still out on the farm. But I said, what should I tell everybody when I'm there? What do they want to hear? And he said, well, tell them what you want to tell them. Tell them what you do. Tell them why you do what you do, why it's important. And, people that you're going to meet probably don't meet a swine veterinarian every day. So promote what you do. So I think that was good advice, and I hope to think it's because of the great other people at K-State that I network with and use resources in terms of food animal medicine.
Well, the recognition is definitely well deserved. Congratulations to you, and thank you for this quick visit. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It was very, very nice to have a discussion with you, and I've enjoyed being back in Manhattan. It's been a while, and still a great place.
She's a 1998 graduate of the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State, and currently the Vice President for Health Management with Honor Corporation out of Spring Green, Wisconsin. Dr. Tara Donovan, again, she's the Alumni Fellow for the college for 2015.